Hi, I'm Sara Clawson, Public Relations and Marketing Specialist with the Tolleson Union High School District. Today, for this week's podcast, we are at Westview High School in the welding shop. Go ahead and introduce yourself to me, guys.
Hi, my name is Jamie Caron. I am the welding instructor here at Westview High School.
Hi, my name is Santos Kerewa Felix. I'm a student here at Westview.
All right. Mr. Carrion, how long have you been with the school?
This is my second year. I'm taking over the welding program, yeah.
Okay, and what was your experience prior to Westview?
So I'm very lucky to have grown up. My dad was a shop teacher for all his life. He's a retired shop teacher. So I grew up in the shop class, wood shop, welding. And so prior to this, I was actually a construction teacher at Ironwood High School for 10 years. So I love just being in the shop, being around the students. And so moving over here was kind of an easy parallel move for me. So, yeah.
In your first year with Westview, what was your goal?
So my goal is to get more kids interested in it. You know, I don't think a lot of kids either didn't even know we had a shop class back here, or just getting them to understand that it really isn't. It's more fun than kids think it is. So I think getting kids in here and getting them more involved and realizing that, hey, this is actually pretty fun, and then it's an actual valuable life skill that they can learn. So getting them involved in the class was probably my number one priority, when I took over.
And welding is part of the Career and Technical Education program.
That's correct, yeah.
Can you tell us, just in case anyone is unfamiliar with CTE classes, how it's different than a traditional gen ed sort of class?
Correct. So it's back in the day, we used to call it vocational classes, anything that is revolved around a possible career that a student can jump into after high school. So culinary, or, they have sports med, or computer technology classes, things that really give kids a kind of an insight into a possible career. So CTE is I believe, has been extremely valuable to our students in our entire district, to be able to expose them to different jobs and different careers. And if anything, even if they don't go into that job, at least it gives them exposure to see what else is out there, and give the kids, a possibility of what they might want to do, after high school. If some of them don't go to college, and that's fine, or some of them don't go to the military, or we just like to expose them to different avenues that they can take once they graduate high school.
And that's definitely a mission of our district, to prepare our students for whatever the path may be after high school.
No, absolutely.
Higher ed, skills, vocational, career, or military.
Super important, absolutely.
So if you could touch on just a bit more the students who do come to your class, and I'm assuming there's different levels of welding, like an introductory, and
yes,
then
correct. Yep.
Maybe who do you see coming into that first level of education in welding, and who might advance, or do people weed themselves out if they realize?
Sometimes they do, but for the most part, my main job is to make sure that this is a fun atmosphere. Regardless of whether or not they actually become a welder or not, they have at least learned a little something, right? At least they walk out of here taking away something, because we do have the the beginning kids who show up and they're just completely green. They have no idea. They don't know anything about. Oh, there's our bell. But they don't know anything about welding. They're just completely green and brand new to this. So they just take it into learning brand new. And so once they try it out and realize, oh, this is actually kind of cool, kind of fun, you'd be surprised at the kids that actually dive into this and really enjoy it.
What do they make in that first year class?
Oh, pretty basic stuff. But really this first year is really just learning the basics of how the machines work.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I mean, they're really, really basic stuff. They learn the safety stuff, lots of safety stuff, because this is the most dangerous classroom on campus,
probably
in the district.
In our district.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of safety stuff that we do, learning basics on how the machines work, how our tools work. So we do get into projects, but they're very basic. And there's even times where we give them the freedom to build what they want to do, so incrementally we get the projects get more advanced as we go along. Yeah.
And then from the student perspective, how many years have you been in welding?
3 years.
3 years in welding. And what was the motivation to start as a sophomore student?
Because my friends, they were in welding. They were talking about it, and so I wanted to see what it was.
So your friends were already in welding, and they were kind of sharing what they were doing.
Yeah.
So did you have? Well, let me start over. Is welding something that you hope to do after high school?
Yeah, it is.
You do. So did this class help formulate those plans for you?
Kind of. Like, it was a little bit before I got to the class, like, that I wanted to know.
So
That I know I wanted to be a welder.
what interests you about it?
The money.
It's a
Hey, that's an
good
honest
jo-
answer.
It is a good career choice too.
The money is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then how have you seen yourself grow from your sophomore year to now as a senior?
Well, I know how to do basics of most of the types of welding. Like, I can MIG weld, I can TIG weld a little bit, and I know how to gas weld and then gas cut, and I can stick weld. So I know basically all of that.
Industry-wise, what kind of careers can a student like launch into after high school? Because they receive certification, right?
Correct here. So we're gonna get the first certification they get is their OSHA 10, which is what they're working on right now, and that's really nice because that will follow them. Something they can put on their resume, and it never expires, so they can always keep it. It's about safety stuff. But jumping into once they graduate, because here's the thing: is that when they go through high school and they learn these basic things about welding, a lot of times when people jump into the welding field, they don't know anything.
Someone who hasn't had this exposure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I was telling these kids the other day that like what the experience that they're getting is much more than somebody who just decided, hey, you know what, after high school, I think I'm gonna try this and jump into a trade school or something, and they're brand new. These kids are already having like 3 or 4 years of experience coming out of high school, and technically speaking, he could get a job today, being a welder if he wanted to. Doesn't necessarily even have to go to a trade school to do that. Going through a trade school to get certified is one thing, but sometimes, the industry is so desperate for people in the construction field in general that they're willing to take somebody who actually has some experience. So you'd be surprised at the opportunities that are out there, and I'm constantly talking to them about his job posting for this, and this kid's making this much money and doing XYZ, doing the exact same stuff that what we're doing in here. They're just doing it out there in the field. So there's definitely in the construction field in general, not necessarily just the welding.
Is there opportunity for students to have an internship
Absolutely.
while they're in high school?
Correct. Yeah. So depending on how old they are, some companies will only take them if they're 18. But either that or they can even do their internship here with me. So they're actually learning and doing stuff on the job here with me. It's kind of like projects that I give them and things like that. So, but yes, we do have some students that are already out on site. I know we have one student that's out on a ranch helping them on the ranch with welding or things that they need out on the ranch. So, but yes, absolutely, for sure.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So of the projects that you assign your students, can you kind of talk me through like what's the basic one look like? What's the junior, the senior level? Like what is like the biggest thing that they'll be, or maybe smallest?
Yeah, so definitely the first one that we start off on is just basically learning how to weld and seeing their weld beads or lines and making sure, because we're talking brand new and these kids are dealing with sparks and fire and flame, and so sometimes can be a little scary to them. But then once they realize, oh man, this is really cool, and then they start getting better and better at it and realizing, and I have to kind of help them, guide them along as they do it. But so we start off doing that and just practice running their lines. And then the first things is like a little pencil holder, with the
like a divider.
yes,
on
so
top of
little pencil holders that the kids will be able to make. Sometimes they give it to a teacher or a parent or whatever. But all the projects they get to take home.
It's almost like when they're little and they're making
yes
arts and crafts.
Yeah, pretty much, kind of. Except they're doing it with fire and electricity, so and metal, and so So we do start off with little basic ones like that, and then sometimes we work into shapes or letters, and then even our advanced class here now, so starting next week, we're going to start building models of airplanes and helicopters.
Do they have to fly?
No, because they're going to be made out of steel.
Okay.
So they're going to be a little bit smaller. But what I'm doing is I'm challenging the students to take basically pieces of metal and turn it into something that somebody can recognize. Yeah.
So take me back for just a second.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't know much about welding, if I'm a student in the class, you're providing the project, but do the students create the blueprint?
So it depends. If like for that pencil holder,
okay.
I provide the blueprints and tell them exactly what I want them to make. But then there are some times where I tell them they might have a personal project and it can only be so big. You're going to build me something that's XYZ, and I'll give them parameters. But then correct. So that is part of our curriculum too, is blueprints. They have to design something, obviously, or think of something in their head, put it on paper, and then give me measurements and tell me exactly what it is. So kids don't make anything in here without my approval. But blueprints is really important. So let's say a kid comes to me and say, hey, I want to build a shelf for my room or something for my mom or whatever. Okay, cool. Draw me a blueprint because I want to see it. I want to know. And so they have to bring that, what they envision in their head, put it on paper, and then bring it to life. You know what I mean? And sometimes what they think in their head and what they put on paper doesn't always work in real life, or it doesn't come out exactly the way they want it to. So I would say 90% of what we do in here is problem solving. Really, that's really what it is. How can we do this? How can we make this happen? How can we bring this to life? How can we make this work? Or sometimes we build a project and it doesn't come out right. Okay, well, what do we need to fix? What do we need to change? How do we adjust it to make it better? So a lot of it is me guiding them through problem solving. That's really what it is, and how to make the project happen.
And those are the ancillary skills that you learn in all kinds of classrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you have the welding skills down, you're still learning how to work with someone else, how to think through it, how to fix the problem.
Super important. Yeah, for sure.
So for you, was there a project that you started that didn't go well?
There was a couple.
All of them?
Yeah.
No,
most of them.
that happens a lot.
Can you talk me through an
Alright,
example?
so there was one. I was trying to make a bench, but for one, the metal that I was trying to use was too thin, and I needed too much of it. There was too much material that I needed, and then we just ended up not making it.
It didn't work at all?
No.
No plan B?
No.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes they go through the whole project and they realize, oh, this turned out nothing like what I wanted, and so they scrap it. And so they take the metal and they put it in scrap. We don't throw it away, but they just scrap it. Or but that is, and it doesn't hurt their grade in here at all, because I'm not the harshest grader. I want them to be productive, and that's how you learn. Like, that's everybody who starts out at anything was bad at it before they got good at anything, right? So it's, for me, it doesn't affect their grade if the project doesn't turn out perfect or exactly the way they wanted to. Like, they were productive, they tried, they saw that it didn't work out exactly, and that's how they learn, and they fail forward. So that's part of the process, and I genuinely believe in that. Okay, that's fine. Let's go again, on to the next. There's always another project, right? And so there's always the next one. What's next? Let's move on to the next, and that's how they learn.
So how about projects that you're very proud of that were a huge success?
There was a trailer hitch that I had to make, and we were gonna put mud flaps on it, and that turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference was
What do you mean?
between the first project that failed forward and what year were you? What's the difference, like, time-wise? Was it same
It was about the same year.
same year?
But the difference, for the project was, like, for one, there was less material and it was less complex.
Was it easier to draw the blueprint, or did you just understand it a little better?
A little both.
A little bit of both. So the friends that encouraged you to join welding, are they still in welding?
Yeah, one of them has an internship already.
Oh, really? That's amazing. And then do you have other people who come to you and say, what is welding like?
Sometimes, like, if they'll ask why I smell, or like my hands are all dirty, I'll tell them I came from welding, and then they'll ask about it, so I'll tell them. But sometimes.
It is really cool that welding for our district is only located at Westview High School.
It's kind of unique, yeah.
I wonder
cool.
if there's students who come here because they want to do welding.
Some. And what's nice, and what I'm even noticing is that students are bringing their friends into class to show off what they're making. Or the kids who walk in, who I've never seen before, and they look around going, oh, wow, this looks really cool. Can I join this class?
It's like FOMO.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and especially with that's why I created our social media, because I wanted to showcase what we're doing in class, and more specifically the young women, the young ladies, that most of the time they do a better job than the boys do in here, because they pay attention to detail, and they do, they take their time and whatnot. So I want them to know that this can be a class for them too as well, and it's all inclusive. And I think once people realize that, oh wow, this is actually really cool, this is really neat, and then we have fun while we're in here. And then I'm pretty laid back type of teacher. As long as we're all being safe, that's obviously the most important thing. I want them leaving here the same way they walked in. I mean, I want to leave the same way I walked in too, right?
All fingers, eyebrows.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
When everybody asks if I'm a shop teacher, they always, "Oh, you got all your fingers?" Yes, I have all my fingers. But so yeah, I think student engagement has been growing. And all the people and teachers and the counselors that I talk to, they are all saying really good things about what they hear from our class. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, it's cool.
And your enrollment numbers have grown too, right?
Oh yes, for sure. And we have all my classes are full, and
Which is how many students?
Oh gosh, 38 to 42
per
kids
class.
per class. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was when you started? Like how big of an increase in enrollment?
It wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. As a matter of fact, I believe one of our principals was telling me that they had to they're turning kids away because we just don't have the space for them. And I told them, I'm like, I don't care. I don't mind having more kids. The kids are great.
But safety.
Safety and stuff. And I just don't have space or enough seats, that type of thing. But the kids have been amazing, and they're awesome. And I believe I have the best job on campus. I was literally just saying that yesterday to one of our principals because I just have so much fun in here. I literally do. I joke around with the kids all the time. We're constantly laughing. We have a good rapport in here. The kids are learning things while they're having fun. We're all being safe. We're not doing anything dumb. Like that whole dynamic is something that I love because my day goes by so fast. I look down like, oh my gosh, it's 2:00 already. Because we were just busy doing things, and I really like that. It says and what's funny is that I don't think any other teacher would probably want to switch places with me because they would all, some kid's going to cut their finger off in here or something. Like, no, it's just, it's a different dynamic, and I really enjoy it. Oh,
yeah. You had mentioned that you're working with the city of Avondale to create something for them. Can you tell us about that project?
Yeah. So last year, right at the end of the year, I was in here towards the end of the class, and our director, Mr. George Moreno, and a representative from the city of Avondale came in with these poster boards, these ideas on these poster boards, and they said we would like to build a monument, kind of the monument that you see on the side of the road. It says "Welcome to the City of Goodyear, City of Avondale." So they want us to build that for them. They want the student engagement, and because we have this shop, they wanted to know if we wanted to be a part of it, and I was like, absolutely, this is so right up our alley. More so because not only is it student engagement, but the kids are going to be able to work on something that is going to be there.
A permanent structure.
Forever. Yeah. They'll be able to tell their kids, I built that. That is so cool to me. So when they were showing me these ideas and things and how big they want to make it, and it's going to be, from what I understand, it's going to be right on the corner of 99th and Indian School, so not far down the road from here. And so they wanted students who were going to be, in our city and involved in it. And I was really humbled that they thought of us to come to us. And so what's going to happen, we're literally in the process of the design phase right now of figuring out what we want to design and how it's going to come together. And we're expecting to start building and working on it when we come back from winter break. So we will be working on it from January till about end of March, April-ish. And then they would like to actually assemble it by the end of the school year. So in May is their idea of when they would want to build it and put it all together.
Unveil it.
Do all that stuff. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet. They gave us an outline of a space we have to work with, and I think they said they wanted something, maybe something tall. So I don't know what it's going to look like. We're in the design phase right now, but I'm pretty excited about that just because. And I'm going to make sure we involve all the students.
Yeah. I was going to ask that. So is it just an advanced class?
I don't want it to be. It could be, but I want to have at least all of my students to have some sort of something, to do.
Touch it.
To touch it a little bit, to have a little bit of weld here, or cut this piece and put this piece here, or whatever, whatever it is. Because once we get the blueprints and we can see, how we're going to assemble this and put this together, I'll be able to divvy up, some of these kids, or this class is going to do this and this class is going to do that, and then we'll kind of bring it all together. But I do want all the students to kind of have a little bit of an impact on it. Yeah. So it's not just the advanced students.
Do you think that kind of partnership with businesses or the communities around us is something that will keep coming your way, the students' way?
I hope so. I hope so. It can be tough from a business standpoint because it's technically teenagers working on a project, which I totally understand. And that's why I'm so grateful that the city of Avondale wants to back us on this. But I would love to have more student engagement into different things outside of our community, or even things that we can help other schools with. since we're the only welding shop in the district, what about if we can build something for a teacher or a school, or I don't know, but I would love to be able to do that, to have some sort of outreach, for us to be able, for these kids to be able to use their skills, and because that's really important. I mean, we used to do that when I taught construction class. We used to build tables or something for the schools or whatever, and these people would come in and be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. This is amazing." And the students you could tell they're like, "Yeah, I did that." So to have our students be able to use their skills for something really good like that would be truly beneficial for all parties, I believe.
Anything else? Did I leave anything out before we wrap up?
Gosh, no. I mean, it's like I said, the students have been great. I love it's people have been asking me how's because it's my second year starting here, and I think honestly for me probably the best part has been the students. Really, it really has. They've been unfortunately they've kind of had lots of teachers kind of come through before me, and so having somebody come in and say, I'm a big believer in learning by doing. So if you don't know, let's figure it out. And you can't really learn welding through a book. You know what I mean? You really can't. So we don't spend a whole lot of time in the classroom. A lot of it is hands-on. And if you screw up, not a big deal. Let's try again. Let's go again.
Because you will.
You will, absolutely. And it's practice. 90% of this is practice and figuring it out, problem solving, and you have to learn on the fly. And those are just things you're just really not going to learn in a book. So to be able to get out here and learn on the fly and learn with the hands-on, it's really important. And for me to be able to say, like, coming in and doing projects, even other teachers were saying, "Oh, you guys are doing projects now." Like, yeah, like that's how we learn. That's how we do things. And so the more projects they do, the better they're going to get at it.
Do you remember when you first came to class, your first or second day, like what it was like to hold the equipment, to put on the gear? Was it intimidating?
To me, not really, because I had my tia's boyfriend had already showed me a little bit of welding, so I wasn't really intimidated.
I think for me, that would be like a moment of, what am I getting into? Maybe a little bit, right? Some hesitation that it's real and you're going to be in control of fire.
All the kids when they come, especially with the grinder, when freshmen come in and they've never used it before, and there's sparks that fly off of it, and they all like get kind of scared, and it's kind of funny to watch them, because to go from, I know they're going to act that way. They've never done this before, and they go and they use it, and sparks and fire or flames or whatever it is, and they think like, oh wow, and then a month later
it's no big deal.
There's no big deal to them, right? They come in and they just get used to it, because they're practicing. So yeah, it's always pretty normal that somebody comes in with all the gear and stuff to kind of get acclimated with it. Yeah.
Well, great. I can't wait to follow up with you guys in the spring and to see the unveiling of the monument, the statue, really cool. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. That's it for this week's episode of the Education Exchange, where we aim to enlighten our parents and empower our students. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Education Exchange. Have a question or want to be a guest on our podcast? Email podcast@tuhsd.org for more information. Missed an episode? Catch all seasons of the Education Exchange on your favorite streaming platforms or at www.tuhsd.org/podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the Education Exchange.